If you ever go through airport security in China, be mindful of USB batteries. Now, these things are very useful when you travel, but for some reason, China is the only country I visited where these things get flagged at security. I've almost had this thing confiscated a couple of times, so be mindful of that. I would say security in China, especially at the airports, is a little stricter. There's a couple of extra steps after you go through the metal detector. You're first asked to put your arms out, and then they give you the electronic wand all over the body. And then after the electronic wand, then you get frisked. And the frisking is not invasive or grabby like some American security, but it is pretty efficient. They flatten their hands and the fingers together, and then there's short, quick movements over the body. So first the arms, and then the chest, and then the hips and the legs all the way down to the cuffs of your trousers. And then the last thing they do is they check your belt line. So they run their hands on your belt line. Oh, hello. I saw a lot of things in China, different customs, different traditions, and sometimes I wasn't sure whether it was a one-off or if it was a thing. So for example, I was visiting a school in Shijiazhuang to give a presentation. I set up the computer and the mic to make sure everything was working, and then I had some dead time before the students showed up. So two of the ladies in our group were putting out brochures on the desks, and I had nothing else to do. I thought I'd give them a hand, so I grabbed a handful of brochures. Oh, they didn't like that at all. They let me know that that was their job and my help was not needed. Is that a thing? I don't know. This might be a thing. When two companies go into business together and enter into an agreement, there's an official signing ceremony. Employees gather in a meeting area, the people are introduced, something official gets read out, and then there's fanfare when the documents are signed. Now, I don't have video, but this was the actual fanfare during the ceremony that I witnessed. I pieced together afterwards what was going on, but during the ceremony I was clueless. I was visiting another school in Shijiazhuang when I learned that hot drinks are a thing in China. It's the general belief that hot beverages are good for the body, and you do get strange looks whenever you order a cold soft drink. But I learned of this cultural difference at that school, sitting down with the headmaster, a couple of teachers, and my boss. They did all the talking in Chinese. I did a lot of nodding. But before I started nodding, they asked me if I wanted some water. I said, yes, please, and they gave me a cup of steaming hot water. Okay, guess you have to be a good guest. I'm going to drink some hot water. So I sat there listening, nodding, and blowing on my cup of hot water. Finished my cup of water faster than I expected, so they asked me, would you like some more? Yes. She. And that's how I learned about hot drinks in China. Thank you. It was explained to me that in China, it's kind of a status symbol if a company employs a Caucasian person, that somehow this designated white guy gives their company an added credibility. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't work in China. I was only visiting China. But I can say, as a visitor, I have never been stared at, ever, the way I was stared at over there. There are not a lot of foreigners to be found outside the airport or tourist attractions, so I stood out everywhere I went. Adults would be more subtle. They give you a double take. And then the little kids, they were funny. No exaggeration. Their jaws would literally drop as I walked past. I would walk into a school auditorium to thunderous applause. At this point, I have not said anything or done anything. My boss taught me an expression, da jia hao, which means, how's everybody? And once I said that, it brought the roof down. I was signing autographs, taking selfies with the students. It was unreal. One time after a presentation, I was standing around and a couple of students came up to me to ask a question, and there were audible gasps from the other students. They're talking to him. And the students were great. They were very friendly, very curious about Canada. In that part of the world, it's last name first. But I would be introduced the Western way with my first name first. So I would often get, hello, Mr. Joe, as a greeting. And that was always fun. I was called handsome on more than one occasion. Okay, I don't know what to make of that. Granted, I was wearing the suit, and that goes a long way to distract from the heinous facial area, but clearly you haven't seen a lot of white guys in person if you're thinking this is handsome. Alright, that's everything for today. Please feel free to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can send questions and comments through Facebook or Instagram. Now I'm going to leave you with some video. I'm told that in China there's 40 minutes of compulsory exercise every day in these middle and high schools. Here's a few seconds from a school in Harbin. You can see the students walking around in orderly columns. This one was in Chengde. I caught the tail end of the exercises there. Every school seems to do their own thing. This video coming up was from a middle school in Shijiazhuang, and they put on a very impressive show. Here it is. Until next time.